What's up, guys? Enoch here, back with another video. This one's more of a storytelling type of video about my journey on how I became a web developer and UX designer. All right, let me tell you all about it. So, I've always had love for art. It's been in my genes my whole life. And as a teenager, all my energy went into drawing and painting graffiti art. During high school, my hustle was selling airbrush t-shirts, hats, painting graffiti on kicks, on backpacks. And the high school that I went to in Miami Lakes was like a magnet school where you would pick a specialty study that you can graduate with a technical degree. So I chose to be part of the Computer Programming Academy, but honestly, I never put much interest into programming. All that I wanted to do was draw in class. And at that time, my primary focus in high school was to make money selling art. I didn't care about Visual Basics or C++ or Java, but I did learn my variables. I learned about arrays, classes, databases, MySQL, and the basics of computer science, which is good because later in my life I would revisit these topics. So, after I graduated high school, I pursued being a full time artist. I lived in Miami in the time back in 2007 where there was this popular trend where people would customize their cars with exotic paint jobs and colorful interiors. So I got really excited about it. So then I decided to get into airbrushing murals on cars and bikes. I painted everything from people's portraits to cartoons, even superheroes. Pretty much anything that whatever the customer wanted, I painted. And I did this for about 4 years, going from body shop to body shop, painting cars. At the same time, I was also painting graffiti murals for local businesses. And honestly, I really enjoyed it a lot. But there was this problem. I honestly couldn't sustain a good income doing this, that I barely made my rent sometimes because work was slowed down. And so I had to constantly go out and look for new work. And sometimes it was very slow. But then when it would pick back up, I did paint large murals and I made good money from it. I remember that when I had enough money that I bought my first laptop and my first DSLR camera. I still remember it was a Nikon D60, but I still needed a strong capital to invest into good art equipment, painting materials, and I needed a way to market my art to the public. And so at that time, around 2007, 2008, that's where MySpace was popular. It was so big that the platform I used it to promote my work. With MySpace, there was this feature where you could customize the look and feel of your profile. So I would spend nights learning how to customize the CSS code on my profile. And I didn't know it was CSS, but I got good at it. And then my friends would contact me to help them customize their MySpace profiles. I became so good at it that this became another one of my side hustles. And this was like the beginning. I knew that I wanted to make a living doing something in computers, doing art and creativity. I remember researching careers in 3D animations, motion graphics, and there was this new field called interactive media design. And I don't know what it was, but somehow I wanted to work in video games, designing the menus and animating the buttons and those type of things. I I don't know what that was, but I found a lot of interest in it. And I felt very confident that I could design some cool interface, but I didn't know what to create. So when I moved out here to Las Vegas in 2010, that's when I needed to find work and I needed to promote my art. Not a necessity, I needed to have a portfolio website. So then I decided to design my first personal portfolio website in Photoshop. Yes, I didn't know much back then, and that was the only design software that I was able to use. So here, let me show you what my first website looks like. Let's take a look. So this website I designed in Photoshop, but I had no clue how to build it in HTML. So I remember looking up tutorials on Dreamweaver and learning how to code, but I had no clue how to even start. That frustration is what led me to wanting to pursue web development. I wanted to learn so bad that I ended up signing up for Full Sail University's web design and development degree. And that's how I got into web development. And 2 years later, in 2014, I graduated with my degree in web development. And all of this because I simply wanted to build an art portfolio website, which led me to becoming a web developer. And now, over the years, working as a web developer, I have transitioned into specializing into UX design. So here I am now, and I still haven't built that art portfolio website. I ended up using Squarespace to build one for my art, but honestly, I plan on redesigning it with something new, something that I create from scratch and code it up with the latest technology. So if you're interested in a project like that, feel free to subscribe so that when I start to build that project, you can watch me build it step by step from the design concept all the way to coding it up and making it go live. All right. So if you made it this far listening to my story, thank you so much for sticking around. I'll see you on the next one. Peace